What you know about retro ghetto? Collecting and playing retro. Street Fighter on the Nintendo. I'm a veteran at this, not a pro.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto and what promises to be a very special episode of the CEX Lottery. I was fortunate enough to have a couple of very successful car boot hunts recently. I found loads of different video games and consoles. I traded them all into my local CEX branch. As a result, I've spent all of those vouchers on a couple of very heavy hitting video games. Hopefully we're going to be adding these to my collection, as these are both games that I've been wanting to add to the collection for quite some time. One of these games in particular has become very expensive. It's probably one of the most expensive games I've ever purchased, and I've got quite a checkered history with it, but we'll get to that as and when I unbox it. Also, I'm going to be giving away this copy of Stunt Race FX for the Super Nintendo. This is box complete. Shout out to Gib84 for his generosity on this one. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video and I'll be giving you the details of how you can win this. But let's get into it, shall we? Let's see if I can win my fight with CEX on these heavy hitters. And we're going to be diving straight into this one. I've got no idea what order these are in. So yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, let's get into the first box then, shall we? As I say, I've got no idea what is in each of these boxes. Look at that. Look at that. That's a positive sign. I'm going to take that as a sign right there that there might be some goodness inside this box. Let's see what's in here. Okay, we'll get rid of the invoice. Right, it's time to switch to the secondary camera. I've actually wrapped it in bubble wrap, which I haven't seen from CEX for quite some time. It's usually that Yarmy wrap, like the paper stuff. So, let's see what we've got. Right, okay, first things first, I'm glad that this is the first game that I opened, because the next one is, I don't know, say better. Let's say better, but this is still a heavy hitter, but let's get into this one. Oh yeah, man. That game is Chaos Engine. This is a top-down run-and-gun game developed by UK-based Bitmap Brothers in 1993, and this is one of only two games that were developed for the Super Nintendo by Bitmap Brothers, the other one being Gods, which I've got here, so it's nice to have both in the collection. This is set in a steampunk Victorian age in which one or two players must battle the hostile creations of the eponymous Chaos Engine across 4 landscapes and ultimately defeat it and its deranged inventor. The game was originally released for the Amiga and is better known in the States as Soldiers of Fortune. And as you guys will have seen on screen, the graphical style is fantastic. It reminds me of another purchase that we got recently, which was True Lies for the Super Nintendo. It has that same kind of more adult style to it that you don't often see on Nintendo of that era. And one of the reasons this game was never high on my list of games to purchase when I originally started collecting for the system was the box art. I don't think the box does this game justice. To me, it looked like a sort of more of a turn-based RPG, maybe. It certainly doesn't look, to me, how the game plays. So, yeah, I'm definitely glad that I was educated on this game because it looks fantastic and it looks like one that I can't wait to get playing. There was actually a sequel for this released as well for the Amiga in 1996, and although a Mega Drive game was initially slated for release, it never actually came to fruition. But yeah, man, this is just one of them games that I can't wait to play. But is it going to be getting added to the collection? Right, first things first, I'm delighted. I'm sitting here talking about the game, but I'm talking through a big smile, as you guys can probably tell, because this looks beautiful. Look at the condition of this. Very happy. The only mark is that, and that's sticker residue, so there's nothing there. Guys, this is, I mean, that Tati's corner is that one. This is in beautiful, beautiful condition. Very, very happy with this, and it feels heavy, so let's take a look. I'm confident there's a manual in here. Guys, look at them flaps. Oh, interpret that sentence how you will. But look at them flaps. But let's go into this, shall we? Yeah, it's a manual. I knew there was. What a beautiful condition. This is one of the best condition games I've had from CEX. Done really well in the lottery recently. We got Super Strike Gunner that was in fantastic condition. Lost Vikings as well, which was like almost mint, I'd say. So yeah, there's definitely some very nice condition Super Nintendo games out there. You've just got to find them, and we've been fortunate enough to get one. Here's the manual, a little bit of creasing on top, nothing that bothers me. Here's the cartridge itself. But guys, this is, without a doubt, a massive CEX win. I'm absolutely delighted with the condition of this. One of them games that I can't wait to start playing. I'm going to put a poll up for Ghetto gang members over on Patreon as to whether they want to see me play this or True Lies first, as they seem such similar games. Once that poll has been announced, I'll then do like a little mini review on it, and that'll be going live for Patreon members as well. So yeah, man, just really, really happy with the condition of that. Very happy. What a way to start this. If this is even close to the condition of that, this will be the best CEX lottery ever, hands down, no doubt about it, because this is a very heavy hitting game. It's an absolute classic, and as I say, it's a game which I've got quite a lot of history with, so enough hype, right? Let's get into it. They've covered the pull tab, so there's nothing there I can do. I've got the trusty steak knife back, right? It was put into retirement earlier in the week for a Stanley, but let's give some love to the old steak knife, shall we? It's the old faithful. So let's just put a slit in these seams, and hopefully we can get into it. Woo! I'm in, finally. Wowzers, that was a workout, man. I feel like I'm going to have a protein shake after this. Once again, let's get rid of the invoice note in here. This one is actually in Army wrap. So yeah, let's get to that second camera and take a look what we've got. Man, it feels like Christmas, man. Honestly, this is one of them games that I think I said I'll be very surprised if it's complete, because it's such a sought after game, and I imagine it's one that if it is complete, sat in a CEX store, it would have been snapped up by now. I'd be very surprised if it hasn't thus far. I should also say at this point that where's it gone? I should also say at this point that the Chaos engine costs £70. This one here is £150. Okay, get it out of the wrap, get it out of the wrap. That game is Castlevania: The New Generation. Better known in North America as Castlevania Bloodlines, this was developed and published by Konami in 1994. For me, the golden era of Konami. A vampire named Elizabeth Bartley is orchestrating the beginning of the First World War as a sacrificial war to bring her uncle, Dracula, back to life. Players take on the role of Quincy Morris's son John and his friend Eric Laccard to take up the fight against evil. Guys, what can I say about this game that hasn't already been said, right? It's an absolute classic. Before we get into the condition of this, I'm going to give you guys a little backstory as to my history with this game. So, when I first started collecting, a couple of years before YouTube, I was 95% collecting Super Nintendo. That was all I was really focused on, was adding to my Super Nintendo collection. And one day I went to the Fantastic Vintage Gamer and I got an amazing deal on 2 games. I bought Castlevania: The Next Generation and I bought Chrono Trigger boxed for the Super Nintendo. As time progressed, I was just more and more fixated on the Super Nintendo, and I made a conscious decision that I was only going to collect the PAL games, one which financially made a lot of sense to me at the time. And listen, any way in which I can limit how many games I'm buying is a positive thing, so I only collect PAL as a rule. So over time, what I decided to do was sell Chrono Trigger. I played through it, I sold it, because like I say, there was no place in my collection for an NTSC game. And then over time, I also decided I was going to sell Castlevania: The New Generation, simply because it was by far the most expensive game that I owned for the Sega Mega Drive. My love for the Sega Mega Drive at that time was nowhere near as strong as it is now, and I collected very differently back then. I had Castlevania 4, of course, on the Super Nintendo, played through it, loved it, and actually preferred that. It got to that point where Castlevania: The New Generation felt expendable. I wasn't going to commit myself to Sega at that time. I could sell this and free up those funds to then buy more Super Nintendo games. From memory, I think I sold this for around £100, and as I say, it's now gone up to 150, so maybe it wasn't the best decision I ever made, and it's definitely something which over all these years has haunted me a little bit in the back of my mind. It's one of them that I've always kind of felt like I've had unfinished business with, having owned it, not played through it fully, and yeah, I just think it's a glaring omission to any Sega Mega Drive collection worth its salt, right? It's just an absolute classic game, and let's take a look at this in closer detail to see if this is going to be getting added to the collection after all these years. Let's hope so, right? Okay, so first things first, we're all good. We're all good in terms of the cover of the game. Obviously the stickers don't matter because that's onto the plastic part of the box, so yeah. But no issues whatsoever with this. The only thing I would say is maybe it could go in a new case. Sometimes they look a little bit dull, but that's just sort of like years of dust and dirt and whatnot on the actual plastic itself, not on the actual paper sleeve, which looks absolutely fine. There doesn't look to be any issues. There's no sort of like marks around the bottom where sometimes it hangs a little bit low and it can lose its black, and sometimes you'll see little white sort of frays. So it looks all good. So I'm not an expert when it comes to sort of like weighing up Mega Drive games, right? But I don't know, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'll let you guys see first. I'll let you on. Tell me, are we winning? Yo! I genuinely can't believe this. Similar to when I bought, what game did I buy recently? Mr. Nuts, and I half expected it wouldn't have the manual, right? Because it's just one of them, it just coming in and out of stock, and I expected it to be a return. I did not expect there to be complete copies of Castlevania The New Generation sat in stock at CEX. And that manual, look at that. That looks like very good condition. Wowzers. Yeah, man. Cartridge is all good. It's even in its original case, look, the Konami case, if you can see it. Wow. Right, that might well be the best CEX lottery I have ever undertaken. Honestly, I'm not lost for words. I genuinely didn't expect that. I didn't expect for 1 minute that to have a manual. I fully thought I'd be opening this, it'd have no manual. You know what, I thought worst case scenario, take it back, I get my 150 vouchers back, we go again, right? We look for something else, or we hold out for a copy that might come in stock one day. Yeah, I genuinely can't believe it. And the condition of that is, like, that's like a good 8.5 out of 10, even if you're a strict collector, in my opinion. Yeah, I genuinely am speechless with that. Definitely the best lottery I've ever done, and this is why I do what I do, guys. This is why I get up at 5 in the morning, go to those car boots, hunt charity shops, right? Because this has come solely from that, from going on those hunts. I enjoy the hunt anyway, right? So for me, it's win-win. And I get to make content for you guys. It's win-win-win. And to be able to add these games to my collection, which otherwise would have cost me, what, £220? For effectively nothing. Yeah, this is what it's all about. This is why I do what I do. This is what gets me out of bed. This is what gets me motivated, right? When I'm going out on these hunts, because we all have bad times. The last car boot I went to, I came back with nothing, not a thing. I spent £1 and that was entry fee. To be adding, yeah, I mean, this is a certified banger, right? Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. I don't think we even need to state whether this is a CEX win or not. Man. So happy with that. Thank you all so much. Right, okay. Let me know in the comments what your favourite Super Nintendo racing game is. As I say, I'm going to be announcing the winner on Sunday's vlog, so keep it locked to the Retro Ghetto for that one, and I'll be sending that out to the winner. Ghetto gang members, let me know if you want me to see me play Chaos Engine or... where is it now? I was going to grab it, it's out of reach. True Lies. As you can see, I'm at a loss for words. It doesn't happen very often. Thank you all so much for watching. Play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Get in.
Retro Ghetto.